What helps me feel prepared on the first day of school is Hello, my name is Brooke Waters, and I am a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, as well as a special education teacher contracted with Equalize Sensory Services. I am also a board certified deaf and hard of hearing specialist. I believe the greatest value that a TOD brings to a school team is our specialized expertise. We have in-depth knowledge about how hearing levels and access to language and communication influence every aspect of a student's development, from academics to literacy, social emotional, self-advocacy, and just their overall educational access. Because hearing loss is a low incidence disability, many members of the IEP team might not fully understand the far reaching impact. And a TOD helps bridge that gap to ensure that decisions are grounded in evidence based practices. What helps me feel prepared on the first day of school is making sure that I have established communication with everyone in the students' educational team. So I like to meet with the classroom teachers to understand their routines, the expectations, any immediate concerns that a teacher might have about having a deaf or hard of hearing student in their class. I also want to know who the interpreter will be and have their contact information, as well as the SLP and the audiologist's information, so that we can start collaborating right from the beginning of the year. Ensuring that I have access to ECATs so that I can review previous student IEPs, evaluations, or any kind of service history that is an ECAT, as well as having access to Infinite Campus so I can see all of their teachers and their class schedule, and having access to the school or work email to make sure that I'm receiving all communications. The most important information for me to have before the first day of school is the names of the teachers who will be working with my student, where each classroom is located, the student's daily schedule, and the teacher's contact information. Having all of this allows me to coordinate my services, communicate with the staff, and plan for a smooth start to the school year. A TOD should be included in any planning related to the student's IEP, particularly when discussing accommodations, any kind of specialized instruction, communication access, or service delivery. Being involved in these conversations helps us ensure that our students' unique needs are being considered when instructional decisions are being made. It's also extremely beneficial to have access to lesson plans, unit plans, and the school's curriculum maps for the school year. It allows me to preview upcoming content, anticipate potential barriers related to language or access, and to collaborate with the classroom teachers in advance. Principals can help support TODs before students arrive by taking the time to meet with the TOD and gain an understanding of the unique role that we play in the educational team. It's especially important for principals to understand the role of an educational interpreter and how the interpreter facilitates communication rather than serving as an instructional assistant in the classroom. Term teachers can partner with the teacher of the deaf by asking questions and being open to learning about what it means to have a deaf or hard of hearing student in their classroom. Every student is unique, so establishing communication from the beginning is essential. Listening to recommendations that we may give as far as classroom seating, communication strategies, using the assistive technology, and how to effectively work with the educational interpreter are some of the most important considerations before school begins. It's also extremely beneficial when teachers are able to share their lesson plans and unit plans ahead of time with the teacher of the deaf or the interpreter, to make sure that we can anticipate any language demands, pre-teach any vocabulary or concepts, and ensure that the interpreter is prepared for any specialized terminology that they might need to use. Just having an open communication with the classroom teacher is the most important thing for teachers of the deaf. If I could give one piece of advice to a school leader, it would be to ask questions. be curious about how to best support students who are deaf and hard of hearing, and take the opportunity to learn more about deaf education and the role of the teacher of the deaf. Hearing loss is a low incidence disability, so many educators and administrators have very limited exposure or knowledge of it. So, asking questions and listening to the expertise of the teacher of the deaf and being open to learning, just showing a willingness to learn and work together is one of the most valuable things a school leader can do to support the teacher of the deaf and the student that we serve.